Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are here on a Tuesday because the fourth week of the solo expansion of the Tombs of Terror is out, which I did do some extra work, and if we can beat the fourth week, we probably will unlock the final fifth chapter, and we'll do that today too. You can see starting on or having your solo expansions come out on the exact same day as the first of the month has some added complication in which you have to go through your reward. So I made it to rank 19 and ended on rank 19, so I get a pathetically small amount of rewards and start at rank 20, which is pretty typical for the amount of energy and effort I want to put into playing Hearthstone these days, 5 years in. Meanwhile, I think it is also worth mentioning that Magic the Gathering Arena is out of beta and doing its launch event right now, so we've got rather tight competition between two card games that I probably don't want to be playing anymore. I'm starting off a little negative here. So yeah, Chapter 4 and the finale are now available. We won't be dealing with the daily quest. That'll be all done Wednesday during my regular live streams. I've noticed we start getting this bug where you click and then you get it a second time. We are also starting later than noon, which ideally I would have been available and awake to stream at noon, but that didn't happen, and obviously was asking too much of my insomnia to even manage to go 4 weeks without problems. So off screen I did the 16 damage it needed to be done for this Plague Lord, who looks like this and starts with like 300 health.
We need to get to the bottom of this.
He has 3 hero abilities built around Murlocs. Then for the second chapter,
who ventures across this desert has gone mad. I think it might be the source of the second plague.
This character has the madness abilities and 3 special hero abilities. I believe this Plague Lord also had 300 health. I think they all do. And I don't think I got that done on screen.
We are ready to take on the
either.
now. Let's go.
Like, I feel like I beat one of them on screen, but the rest I spent a good 8 hours extra playing off screen. And there was just no way to make any footage around it, frankly, because I was just playing very slowly, very quietly, and just trying over and over again, and it kind of destroys the whole concept of the 300 health. It really is a dumb concept, because everybody's going to want to beat this as fast as possible, because there's really no reason to come back to this unless they give us some kind of weird daily quest to come back to it, which they didn't. So you just want to beat it to get the card packs so you could possibly have more cards to play ranked. So making it take longer is a problem. I would almost argue they should get down from 8 bosses to potentially 4 bosses and just try to have it more entertaining so people want to replay it instead of people just grinding through it. This is the problem with like MMOs in general, and this is not a MMO, but this is a game based on an MMO, is that you often see bosses that just have ridiculous amounts of health so that people have to grind or team up, and there's not even a team up ability in Hearthstone. So this Plague Lord, I believe, also had 300 and had entombing related things. If anything, I would say this was probably the hardest Plague Lord to defeat, because it was just the hardest one to get to. So now we're going to have enraging minions defeat the titanic defenders of these sacred halls to overcome the plague of wrath. So this was the plague of death, this was the plague of madness, this was the plague of murlocs. So it doesn't seem like it's really following any kind of... Maybe this is ancient biblical plagues put on Egypt to let the Jewish people go, I guess. Maybe there's a slight reference there because there's a plague of locusts. There was definitely a plague of death for Passover. But then there was also a plague of frogs, I think, and so maybe not plague of locusts, and a plague of famine, and a plague of... well, I would have to go look up all the plagues. But there was definitely more than 5. And I don't think death and wrath would be different ones. So at this point, your only option is to get the rest of the game is spend 700 gold or spend $6.99, and it would still be cheaper to use gold than to spend $6.99, because if you were to try to buy $6.99's worth of gold, which I don't think you can easily do, it would cost you would probably get less gold than that. I don't think there's really even a way you could do that. So the thing this doesn't do, and this is important to take part, is it doesn't just automatically unlock that 5th chapter. So for anybody who wants to see this final section, you really would have had to grind to do this.
Halls of Origination, then. I know that place well.
So if we defeat 5th boss, we get 3 card packs. When we defeat something, we can now do anomaly mode. Both players start with a treasure chest. Can't read the bottom part of that. I cannot read what the bottom of that says. Man. You know, my eyesight is getting worse, so this text gets smaller. I think the text gets smaller though. As more is trying to be squeezed on the card. Like, I can definitely read all of this just fine. But let's not do anomaly mode, because anomaly mode doesn't seem like it's a guaranteed way to make things better or worse. It just seems like it's a way to make things more random. So our new character is Brand Bronzebeard, which I eventually figured out that was the 4th League of Explorers character that would have been in this. He's a combination of hunter and warrior, which his abilities probably would work best in an enraged deck, and we kind of have to look. But ideally, what I would want to do is play as the Sir Finley, because I did the most grinding to unlock abilities and artifacts and objects via Sir Finley in his Murloc decks. I won, I believe, on this on my main account with Sir Finley all 3 times. But let's, just for variety's sake, check this out and give it a try. Now, where does this leave us? We have a mage, rogue, paladin, shaman, druid, priest, hunter, warrior, which puts us missing a warlock character. So there's no warlock deck, which makes me kind of wonder, if there had been a warlock deck, would it have been super overpowered against all these other bosses?
Uldum is filled with ancient wonders. We ought to grab a few while we're here.
So on Sir Finley, I have everything unlocked on this screen except for the final one that requires defeating 3 Plague Lords. So Sir Finley only defeated 2 Plague Lords, obviously. I believe I defeated the first Plague Lord with the first character. So we have to start with this. A 3 mana weapon for attack 2 durability. After hero attacks, deal 1 damage to all enemies. That's definitely an enrage style card. After we defeat 5 bosses, we will unlock this spell. Give a friendly beast +3/+3 death rattle. Give brand sentinel to another friendly beast. There's cards somewhat like this, but not quite as good. After we deal 50 damage to the Plague Lord, which this can happen easily or not, depending on how difficult it is to actually get to the Plague Lord. 3 mana spell, destroy 2 random enemy minions, gain armor equal to their combined attack. Oh, by the way, there is a spell card as one of the treasures that you can collect that says deal 10 damage now and 10 damage when you get to the Plague Lord. I played that on one run 4 times, just made sure after I had that card to make sure I play that spell with each boss before I got to the final Plague Lord boss, and it did immediately as that game started do not 10 but 40 damage to the Plague Lord. So that card by far is the best card of the treasures you can get. The only real question I would have left about it is if you played that card like several times through several runs but didn't make it to the Plague Lord, so it stacked up to maybe even 300 damage, and then by the time you finally got to a Plague Lord, would it only do the amount of damage you'd done in that run? Or would it do damage from previous runs? I imagine it would only do damage available in that run. It would be asking a little too much of Hearthstone and the player to remember that in previous runs they had done some amount of damage. If we defeat 1 Plague Lord, we'll unlock this minion, a 4 mana, 2 attack, 5 health, called Junior Excavator. Battle cry, draw 3 cards. Any minions you draw cost 2 less. That's alright. If we beat 2 Plague Lords, we'll get this minion, a 2 mana, 4 attack, 4 health legendary minion. Battle cry and death rattle, add a random treasure to your hand. It's a little random, but it might be worth it. And then if we defeat 3 Plague Lords, you have a 6 mana, 0 attack, 5 health, a minion called Bronze Epic Egg. After this takes damage, summon King Crush. So you put this on the field and then you manage to do potentially 4 or 5 damage to it in individual instances, and it'll summon a bunch of King Crushes, which that could be cool, but it would require some enraged strategy.
I'm not scared of field work. I might learn a new trick or 2.
So if we deal damage to the enemy hero, 300 damage, we'd unlock well equipped. Equip a random weapon, set its durability to 1. If we attack with a weapon 50 times, we could get Dino tracking. At the start of your turn, discover which card you draw. Interesting. So you just get 3 options at the beginning of each turn to decide which card you want. And I assume you don't discard the other 2 cards and destroy your deck by like potentially drawing 3 cards and only getting 1 of them every turn. But I'm unfortunately gonna have to use that ability.
What should I focus on? I'm a skilled hunter, but also quite the warrior.
Let's see, let's go back. I didn't actually look at this. Spread shot, deal 1 damage, then deal 1 damage to the enemy hero. The kind of basic ability. If we defeat 8 bosses, we would have this starting deck that is seemingly mostly taunt minions. If we defeat 16 bosses, we would have this starting deck that looks like it's a little bit more around secrets and spells damage. And if you defeat 24 bosses, you'll have a completely random deck. But since we don't have any of that, we're going to be starting with taming dinosaurs. Not really seeing anything here that pertains to enrage. So the strategy of this all being enraged, I think, kind of falls apart, other than the fact that I guess everything will have enrage, but some of these don't have a ton of health either, so like you can't give something with 1 health enrage because it'll not be damaged and still alive. We're going against Idra. She has a hero power to summon a 1/1 Wisp and give it lifesteal. 10 health versus oddly 13 health? Is that what it said? Why are we starting with 13 health?
I got your corner now.
Horrible plagues run rampant and then you show up.
So, let's see. Kinda don't want to play that. Or get rid of that, I guess. Excuse me. No, we're starting with 15 health. That makes a lot more sense than 13. I just couldn't read it.
I cannot believe this place is being used for evil.
It is fitting that Rafam would choose a plague of wrath to strike
I won't.
Interesting that they had 2 lines of dialogue overlap there. Why did that play that way?
Another night on the prowl.
So this looks like this is probably just going to be tit for tat. Let's see.
My new friend's got a real mean soul. Wanna meet him?
Ah, the great out.
Yeah, no real strategy needed here. We'll win in the next turn.
I'll wisp you away.
Unless he had some strategy or something. And there's really no reason to stall here. Let's just move forward. So, yeah, like most bosses, the first one is super easy, and unless something really crazy happens, you won't fail on that first boss. Equip a random weapon. Your minions have +1 health and taunt. Your minions cost 2 less and have poisonous. I think +1 health and taunt with enraged characters makes a lot of sense.
Dinosaurs. They won't know what hit them.
So where are we gonna go with this next? I don't think we need spell damage, and dealing 1 damage to all minions with Echo might be nice. See, here's the problem. If we took this where it did damage to minions next to whoever attacks, it would give my opponent more enraged characters. So it really boils down to, do I want tracking? No. Do I want this beast? That would be alright. Do I want that spell? That would be alright. Or do I want spell damage with draw a card? Or deal 2 damage to our own minions and 1 to the adjacent ones? Or deal 1 damage to all minions? I think we'll take that.
The bodies will put up more of a fight as we delve deeper into Uldum.
Next we have, let's see, I had mech pilot. Give a mech +2 attack this turn and force it to attack a random enemy minion. okay. It seems somewhat doable.
Bran versus Armadillo Bot.
This is an example of an art style that I don't think really integrates well into the World of Warcraft art style. Like 5 years now into playing Hearthstone, I've not seen any indication that armadillos exist at all. And they definitely have a new artist in charge, or a new artist team. Although, frankly, at this point, I'm not sure that any of the original team for Hearthstone is still there. But just in the color palette alone, it doesn't really seem like it matches what the other cards were doing. Which is weird, because I could almost make the exact opposite argument for Magic the Gathering. I think that Magic the Gathering has pretty well had a handful of artists paint all of the pictures, and I think a lot of them are hand-painted pictures that are just then scaled down. But yeah, I think that they've had a handful of artists to paint those pictures, and it seems like the art has been moderately consistent for decades now. So with the extra health and rush, that does turn this character into a potential enrage character. This one spits on characters. Alright. Battle cry. Nope. I didn't play that right. This is not a beast.
Your history.
That's crazy.
Nothing stands my rage.
Summon the sea serpent. Do I want to do that right now? There's kind of no reason not to, I guess. Hearthstone is weird in its art style in particular, because I kind of don't know where it's trying to be. It's trying to be kind of cutesy and family friendly, but then kind of fantasy also. It doesn't feel 100% Looney Tune, and it doesn't feel like 100% Dungeons and Dragons either. Let's see, I'm gonna hit this with that, since that's all I can do, and then do that. Do that. And then I have so many spells that are not useful. The right thing for Hearthstone to do, because they've done the commercials that look very nice, they're Pixar-esque. They should bring in the girl that finds the inn in those Pixar-esque commercials for Hearthstone. They should bring her in as a character, and they should go for the kid-friendly approach. Of course, that always then boils down to the main problem with doing that, which is that I played out of order there. I should have attacked first.
Job's done.
Hearthstone is not really a kid-friendly game, in the sense that it's too long, too complicated, and too grindy. So if they were going to change their art style to be more cartoony, more Looney Tuny, that's fine, but they really are going to have to address the elephant in the room, which is that there's not a good welcoming onboarding experience for new players and in particular young players. Not that I think Hearthstone should turn into like Pokemon the trading card game, which is a little bit more simplistic, but it would be easy to say, hey, how about you play with only 10 health and play really fast games? That would be very appealing not only to kids, but to me in particular. It's just get away from get away from spending a considerable amount of frustrating time to play just one game, particularly when you have daily quests that are win 3 games, win 5 games. That can be an hour alone just to get that one daily quest done. If you're going relatively well, it can be potentially 8 hours if you're just in a losing streak, which happen quite a bit. Do I want to start putting in bombs? Or do I want to double down on Vicious Fledgling? Or do I want to summon a beast and draw a card? There's no reason, I think, to draw a card like this where it's just constant drawing, because in these runs there's an ability, the Elixir of Vigor, where you would just draw cards constantly and be immune to fatigue, and so that would overlap. Give a random minion in your hand +2, +2. I'm gonna take this one. Next we have a passive power. After you play a minion, give it Reborn. So this guy might be a bit frustrating because anything that he plays that has Reborn will then be reborn also with Enrage.
Wakey, wakey!
Why you wake me?
So our main goal here, I think, would be around the concept of... I'm gonna hold on to this because I don't think I have much better. Just go for the face. Don't do a lot of damage to minions if we can avoid it. And that should work moderately well since we have taunt.
Job's done. Kitty come back. And
If you played with 10 health and 15 cards, or 15 health and 15 cards, that alone would reduce the amount of time you would have to spend doing a lot of what Hearthstone is. It still would be a problem when you get daily quests that say do like 50 damage to a hero or something along that lines, but those are not daily quests that are particularly difficult. It's the victories alone that are difficult. So much of Hearthstone is built around the concept of let's see. I'm gonna hit this, take 2 damage. That's going to bring up this, and then we can just do that. So this one had Reborn already, so does it now have 2 Reborns? Probably. So
Your history.
Let's just play this card, I guess. Just end the turn. And I don't think it would benefit us to kill that. No, it only has one reborn. Interesting. Well, okay, that solves that problem. So, in any future case, if we needed to know, and we'll enrage our own character. If I was gonna do that, I should have enraged this character, but I guess I'll do that next turn. Yeah, they made Hearthstone just way too much player versus player, and not enough player versus event. This is a player versus event, sure, but it's not. There's not enough focus on this. There wasn't enough focus on this at the beginning. What do I want to do? Let's do that and win. Yeah, I guess I didn't do the math there. But of course, the first three bosses are pretty easy. Here, let's see. Copy the boss's hero power for the rest of this run. Summon a random legendary for each of your minions. Rush Death Rattle, deal 5 damage to all enemy minions, then shuffle this into your deck. This only does damage to minions, so it's not that good. This would only work if we had a decent amount of minions on the field all the time, where this potentially is game changing. So I'm taking that. We'll see what hero ability would be best to use on. Had I had it in the previous fight, that might have been nice. So then we want to triple up on the Vicious Fledgling. Whenever you play a minion, give a random minion in your hand +1/+1. Or do we want more minions? No. Or do we want destroy all damaged minion? King Mosh might be useful in that case, but I think we want pump it up. And we're into our first Bob's Bazaar. Let's see how this goes. So you only get one treasure before the first Bob's Bazaar, and there's a treasure that upgrades your taverns. So if you don't get offered and take that upgrade at first, don't ever take that upgrade. You can choose an enemy minion and add it to our deck. Which might be useful. Always start with a minion in my hand. I think that's probably what we want to do. Or I can remove something and give adjacent minions +2/+2.
Maybe it's a trap.
So if I remove this, it would give this +2/+2, which would be nice, but unnecessary. It isn't really a great card, but it does require 2 gold. So I think it makes a lot more sense that I want to start with this each turn.
Am I right?
And then we're down to 1. Do I want to discover legendary and add it, or do I want to take this? We don't need this because everything has taunt anyways. We don't need this because not too many battle cry cards are. in existence. We definitely don't need that. We definitely don't need that. So let's just discover a legendary.
I like your style.
Choose a friendly minion, add a golden copy to your hand. Okay, I guess that's the best we can get.
Careful out there.
Not really groundbreaking. Choose a minion, summon a 1/1 copy of it. The totally normal jar. So, would that really be an ability I would want to steal versus
a totally normal jar.
versus dealing 1 damage to a minion and 1 damage to the hero?
One of the farm's goons? Come here and get what's coming to you.
So I'm gonna re-roll these other 2, but keep this card. So we have something to do on first turn. That in the turn. There aren't really a lot of cards that synergize with a hero like this. I guess there's a few. So deal 1 damage. That does that. And that gives me the opportunity to do that. What do I want to do? This would just shuffle a raptor into this deck, so no big concern there.
Get these off of me!
Yeah, I don't think this is the hero power we would want to steal. I think this was better. But one assumes you're going to get a choice each time. If I play this, it'll kill this. And then what else can I do? Guess we're just gonna pump this up and give something more attack. This is the only minion we even have.
Get it out! Get it out!
I think we're doing fine, but
Get it out!
it's a little weird. Hit that with that. And then hit that with that. And then we kind of want to play that.
What can I blast for you?
This is choose a minion, summon a 1/1 copy of it. Kind of don't agree with that. Right. And this doesn't really have a death rattle.
Your history!
Yeah, we'll just leave it there. I'm having a hard time having a minion on the field to get a golden copy of that minion. I clearly have too few spells. Alright, so let's just play. Well, we can do this first. There we go. And then that'll let us do that. Just trying to play Desert Obelisks. Guess we hit that. So we've got the setup here. He seems to be having trouble summoning a 1/1 copy of the Desert Obelisk. Okay. 2 damage, 1 to the side. Attack and do 1 damage to everybody. 2 damage and 1 to the side. Maybe not yet. Let's...
Your history.
How do we want to do this? Let's kill that first. Two damage, 1 to the side there. And
Your history.
attack there.
Look at
Here.
me.
And I guess there. That gets him down to 1. I think we're perfectly fine to win this. That's weird. Seems like there was a strategy here to get more of those desert spires on the field, and it really didn't work. So I don't know if the boss was just incredibly unlucky or what. And all I have to really do is attack something, so I can just do this and win. And we'll move forward. I could have even saved myself some health and just used the hero ability. I think we need more minions, so let's see if we can do that. Magnetic with lifesteal would probably be useful, so I'm gonna take those. What's this hero ability? After your opponent casts a spell, put a copy of it in your hand. Passive ability. No, I don't think that would be something I would want to steal either, because I don't know what the Plague Lord boss is going to do, so I have no idea if he casts any spells at all.
I got you cornered now.
You're 2 steps behind, Bran, as usual.
Well, a passive ability would be nice. What's funny too is if I played this, he would then have this card and he would be able to use it in his own to steal my card ability, which would be weird if we did a full swap. I suppose there is maybe a small danger that you cast that spell once and then it disappears from your deck. That's something I'm not considering, really.
I admire this one's commitment.
Let's go ahead and kill that guy because he's going to be a pain otherwise. He gets +1 attack. every time
Who are we
you summon a
hitting
minion.
today?
This is an actual card you can actually play, which is a little surprising. I suppose there's no guarantee that he only has 2 of those in his deck. For all I know, he has an entire handful of them. Right. What's the best way to get rid of this guy? I want this on the field.
Maybe it's a trap.
So deal 2 damage. Like I gotta do this, and then I've gotta do this, and make that decision.
This one will be of great use to us.
And then in the turn,
Your
I did
presence
cast a spell
offends
there.
me.
We have a magnetic lifesteal.
Your presence offends me.
Stands my rage.
This is gonna turn into a problem. Yeah, if he's got a bunch of lifesteal characters. Right. We can do this right now. Or we can play this. Or we can play this. Let's do this and this. I think that's the best combination because I need something on the field. So ideally what we're looking for is for this minion to survive, to be able to attack to get Wind Fury. Things like that. I can't turn it into a machine, so there's our Wind Fury. So now we're looking for +1 health in any way possible. So that protects it a little bit. Then I guess it would really just come down to, is there some other target we could make
Your history.
that would be more appealing? I guess not, so I'm just gonna add a golden copy of that on the in my hand so we have a backup. What's this one do? Draw 1 health minion from your deck? Okay. That's nothing. So we got a couple of options here that could get buffed up by attacking. That wasn't really what I wanted buffed up. I'd like this buffed up, so I'm gonna kind of leave that on the field. Which means I would have to wait a turn. Which, that's not worth it, so let's just do this. Yeah, the only way this hero ability would be really useful is if we know the Plague Lord Wrath is going to cast a bunch, and I mean just kind of constantly be casting a ton of spells that are 1 mana or 0 mana. Okay. This will be an interesting choice, and clearly I should have done that
I've never seen a
with
collection
this.
like mine.
I can buff him up again if I can get past this 6 mana character. Alright, so I've got to cast this again. This is crazy, but this is gonna work.
I have one of those too.
There we go. Attack. This has rush, so it could kill that.
Look at me.
If I can get Wind Fury, that'd be great. Otherwise, we're down to 1 health. So, stealth until next turn is probably your best bet there. And this won't kill that, so we might as well get rid of it. Yep. Pretty sure we win with this weapon in our back pocket.
It was made to be broken.
Thunder!
Maybe not.
Safety in numbers, reliquary.
Let's see. 2 damaged and to the adjacent ones. This.
I am not sure if we have one of these. Thank you.
Why did that work again? Well, okay, whatever. We've got a victory here. Seems like I was able to use my hero ability multiple times there for no reason.
Your assistance is welcome, knight.
I have big plans.
All I have to do is attack the enemy and I'll win. Because remember, this does 1 damage to all enemy minions. So, do that and we're fine. Even if that didn't work, we could have used our special ability.
Never find it.
We are now at the point where we're starting to run into the difficult heroes somewhat, which this is how this goes. Your minions have rush. Your minions cost 2 less. That cost 2 less have poisonous, which I don't think I have a ton of minions that cost 2 less, so giving them +1/+1 is effectively the same as the rage ability that's already happening. Giving them rush is not super useful. We still kind of want more minions, so and I think we probably should go down the mech route. So we'll do that. And here's our second Bob's Bazaar, or Bazaar Bob. Be nice if we had some game changers in this.
What's this?
Something that got more minions on the field.
Well, hello there. Happy to help you in these trying times.
Alright, so what are our options? All enemy minions are added to the adventure deck, gain +1/+1. That would not be bad because that would definitely add a significant amount of minions to our deck.
Think.
Get rid of a minion. I don't see a reason to do that. Choose a new starting hero power, which there might be an option there because this actually does work to unlock one of the other starting hero powers that you can't play as.
Maybe
What were the other starting hero powers though? I don't remember. So we could add a legendary, we could get a new hero power. This is the first thing we're gonna do.
Best of luck to you.
So do we want to discover another legendary? I think, yeah. That's what we're gonna do.
Knows their stuff.
Summon a 1/1 steward. Yeah, this would be pretty useful. So we could still do this, choose a friendly minion and get rid of it. Why we would want to do that, though I don't know. This is the only card we'd have that would give us an opportunity to get armor. So do we want 5 health, which is only slightly significant in late game or new starting hero power. I think we roll the
Someday we'll
dice
go back
and
to
start
Dollar A.
new starting hero power. Here we go. Dino tracking. Now we have this passive ability, Dino tracking, and we can change
Don't
that
go
hero
falling into any
power
giant
later.
sinkholes, all right?
Which I guess if I had thought that through, then it would have been smarter to do that. Yeah, it would have been smarter to get to +5 health and then use the spell to steal somebody else's hero power.
One of the farm's goons? Come here and get what's coming to you.
Agatha's vengeance has been unleashed.
We're still talking about Hagatha from the Witchwood expansion, I believe was what it was called. Okay, which would be the one I want? This one. And I guess the other two cards just go back into the deck because we have 29 and they have 26. So what's this passive ability? Your spells overload 1 but cost 2 less. I wouldn't want to steal that ability anyways. Like I don't need to overload cards. This is, I believe, the last of this season's expansions that started with Witchwood. So next year, assuming they do the exact same thing, which I think is a pretty big assumption, pretty good assumption to make, they'll probably announce 3 expansions, which honestly they probably would be better off if they didn't have 3 expansions next year and then instead committed to just a summer and a fall expansion. That's really all they need. If it was a little bit more polished and a little bit more thought out. We've gotten, I think, too many expansions too fast. A lot of the card expansions we get are kind of useless things that yeah, they don't really play a good role or make a lot of sense. I don't know a better way to say this. Restore 3 health to a damage-friendly character. I kind of need to get rid of that. Yeah. So, like, when this Tombs of Terror expansion came out, the new card packs, in particular, were a collection of... There was a few good cards, but then there's 80% or so of the cards are not really worth owning or playing, and the only way you get these cards in any realistic amount of time or an effort is by specifically paying money to buy the packs. You can't really grind it out as much as you would like to. I can get about 50 packs, maybe even 60, 75 packs by doing the daily quests in between every expansion. But if you wanted to get a complete collection, or if you wanted to get specific cards, which is effectively the same as getting a complete collection, you're going to need to buy 200-300 packs. So you really are on a path of like something as potentially big as spending $600 a year on this free-to-play game, which that's asking a lot.
Your history.
That. kind of played out of order there, but that's fine. We're potentially buffing up this guy. So we want something cheap. So we'll take this. We'll do this. We'll do this. That should buff this. We'll attack here, I think. Yeah, we'll attack this with that. And we'll attack that with that. We should be fine. We're having to actually play strategy now. Honestly, if Hearthstone just had like one big expansion that came out each year, I wouldn't be super upset with that, since this is such an old game. In comparison, if you look at like Diablo 3, they're not adding anything new to that, but even when they were adding DLC to most games, you get like one big expansion every 4 months or so, and it's way more than just more cards. I'm just gonna keep on buffing this up, so by the time it gets onto the field, it has a very high chance of surviving and getting Wind Fury and attacking twice in its first opportunity to attack.
Fall before the crumbling earth.
Okay. What do we want to do now? I think we take this weapon. I think we attack. I think we play the weapon. I think this is buffed up as much as it's gonna get. We attack here, next turn, potentially win. Assuming this earthquake does not do 5 damage and then do 5 damage again. How does earthquake work? It does 5 damage, then 2 damage to all minions. Interesting. And then here we can make a golden copy. And just hold that in our hand for a backup. Let's see. Divine Shield. Should I put something on the field? No, I think I'm going to hold on to it. One more turn, we should be able to win. Darn it. Well, that's why I wanted the backup. Let's see. I don't want to attack right now because I don't think there's a good reason to.
Witness the power of pure water.
The elements must rest.
Let's see. Spells that cause overload. We're not going to do that.
Unity, precision, perfection. Primitive.
Kill that. And get 4 damage. And then attack the face. That'll do 1 damage to everybody. Buff them up. Attack this. If I can get Wind Fury, that would be nice. But I can't, so we'll get stealth until next turn. And we'll end the turn.
May your feet never pride.
He's certainly trying here to win. But I think I've got him on the ropes. Of course, this is the famous last words, isn't it? That you, that people say is like, oh yeah, I'm about to win, and then all of a sudden the game turns a complete 180 on you, and you figures out some way to lose the game still.
Primitive.
Still kind of need Wind Fury. And since I don't have that, I'll take Stealth again. Just to make sure it stays on the field. I'm seeing some benefit of having more lifesteal characters. If we get that opportunity, which we very well might not. And yeah. Just pick something at random and move forward.
Stop you.
This is where the real challenge is. It's in the last 3 or so bosses. So, do I want to be able to do 3 damage to all damaged minions, which would probably be useful, and then increase spell damage? Do I want another Vicious Fledgling and another Dispatch Kodo? Or do I want Execute? Well, my strategy seems to be pretty consistent here. So let's do this. More draw cards and damage all damaged minions. We have plenty of things that will do that. This guy will restore minions' health to full for 2 mana. I think that might be something to consider. I don't know if that's exactly what we'd want though.
These constructs, they're the guardians of the halls. Be careful.
This chamber will flourish with your life energy.
See, it's probably easy enough to re-roll that and keep the weapon. So here we could just pick something, pick anything we want, and we'll just take this. Gain some armor. Let's not play that first. I really think Dino Tracking may just be the best choice here, though. Actually, if I knew he was going to do that, I would have played this. Do we need this anytime soon? No. So we'll take this.
Job's done.
It was made to be broken.
Well, I'm in trouble now. Somewhat, not really. Just play that. A 1 mana 5/5. So he's casting a lot of spells. getting a lot of incidental dialogue here. Okay. This is when I wanted to see what would happen because
Let's show our guests.
I'm not sure if he is actually going to summon a 1/1 or if he's going to summon a 2/2. Yeah, actually he summons a 2/3 with taunt. So now I've got somebody on the field permanently, sort of. And we can just play this and this. I can attack here, and then this rush can kill that. And then return, and I'll just leave Moros on the field every time, and unless he's got some massive damage he can do to everybody, he won't be able to get past the stealth. So we're good. Do we have any? We could play this, or we could hold on to this. Let's take Vicious Fledgling. 2 damage to a minion, 1 damage to adjacent ones. This will be a buff up. Yeah, I think we have this under control. The only real problem is minions. Whatever's in his hand might be a problem. Let's hold on to that. Let's kill this. Start. Attack this.
Your history.
Alright. Now what I do is play this, and this will do 1 damage to this and kill it, but otherwise I would enrage everything else.
Waste all you possess.
Allowing me to attack there. Wind Fury, please. I'll take +3 attack. I don't think that's gonna work. And then I'll just play this, I guess.
Tell your story.
Hopefully something else here will look more enticing than Vicious Fledgling, but I doubt it.
From life can also come destruction.
Here we go. Take that. I could kill this, and this, and this. Yeah. Here, here, here. Summon all friendly minions that died this turn.
Your history.
Attack here. That didn't do it. So nothing will kill that minion. Fine. That sucks, but whatever. But that brings everything back.
Uldum holds many secrets.
So do I want to copy the the restore something to full health ability or not. I like the option of choice. I think that's way better.
Maybe it's a trap.
So let's see if we attack here.
For the silent
Let's do
crusade!
that. And then I want this on the field, I guess. And then I want to attack to buff everything up. Then I want to put this on the field because it has Divine Shield. Don't attack with that one yet. We'll attack with that one at the end. Just managing to buff up everything again. Okay. Golden copy of a friendly minion. Probably the best move.
Magic neutralized.
Let's see how this works.
Primitive.
I could do 4 more damage, but I'll hold on. So the treasure to steal another person's hero ability may not get used here unless I use it in the final battle, which is fine, I suppose. That's not terrible. Double the attack and health of all minions in your hand. I guess I could play that. It would be a smart move right now because I only have one thing in my hand and I probably should have something I hold back.
Be reborn in the dark.
So, if there was some strategy here where I wasn't going to win in this turn, we've got that backup. So, final thing. Discover a card and gain a mana crystal for each boss you've defeated this run. That's really good. After your hero attacks and kills a minion, this game +2/+2 +2/+1. This gains +2/+1. That makes more sense than this game. Your hero is immune each turn, 1 durability, lose 1 durability, deal 100 damage to your hero. Why would I want this? Your hero is immune each turn, lose 1 durability, death rattle, deal 100 damage to your hero. So you basically lose the game for the fact that you get 10 turns of immunity. I don't know, I mean, that might work. That's an interesting backup. Whereas this would be an interesting start. So, do we want to bet on failing and needing 10 turns or 9 turns of immunity with basically no chance of surviving that 100 damage death rattle and no way of silencing a weapon? Or do we want an early game option? I think we go positive and go early game option. Meanwhile, what do we need? Since we have a little bit more choices, I think we go with just more mechs. Getting 1 mana minion is not super helpful right now. So he'll probably have 3 hero abilities. The first one is your minions can't be reduced to 1 health this turn. He has 300 health. So if I stole that ability and used it, that might be useful? I don't know. It's not really something that I'm sure about because I don't know how this guy's gonna play.
Back under the ground with your plague lord.
Anger can feed you or
See,
destroy you.
if this, I kind of want to hold on to this just in case. If I'm gonna hold on to everything. If this could get me 100 plus armor, or even 51 plus armor, and then I had 10 turns of immunity, then it would make sense.
That thing is huge.
I'm gonna take this.
Police, help!
Stay focused. It can't regenerate. Do what damage you can, and we will finish it off later.
So, if we do 100 damage, this will change to something else, and so we're gonna have to either pick this before we do 100 damage, or decide we want the next hero ability, or we'd like the option of the next hero ability. Let's see. This is a little early to be doing this, but we'll take it, I guess. I'm gonna play that. And in return,
No tomb can hold me.
Hate can even outlast death.
so it is cumulative, so if we did 150 damage this time and then I played it a second time and did 150 damage, we would win. Let's see. Let's go with this. I think spell damage is a big deal. Could play this right now, but that seems a little premature. I mean, he would just use his hero ability to kill this. So do I need something on the field, or do I just want to end this turn? I think I'm just going to end this turn. Here we go. Great character. Exactly what we needed.
Let's show our guests a good time.
Need to buy a little bit of time so we can play a strategy.
My blade be thirsty.
This is a problem.
Lay waste to all you possess. The power.
What does this one do? Discover 2 cards, gain 2 mana crystals. What? That, yeah, discover 7 cards, gain 7 mana crystals. That makes a lot more sense. I was like, what in the world is going on there? So I'm gonna play this, and then this will give us a bunch of cards. Overkill, draw 2 cards, probably not the best one to play. We're mostly gonna look for cheap cards to play. Do I want that? Sure, take that. We control 3 minions, gain with 7 health, deal 7 damage to all enemies. I might be able to do that. Draw 2 minions from your deck, set their attack and health cost to 1. I don't want that. Alright. So this I could play King Crush Or I can play this. And then this. And then I could play this spell. And that'll get rid of 2 of them. That was a mistake. I should have attacked. No, I shouldn't have. That's the right move.
Winds of the south, come to my aid.
So I want to get this guy off the field. He's my main concern right now. Alright. So if we attack here, then yeah, still not really enough damage. So attack there, and attack there. Whatever he plays now, we can take out with that. And then we're just going to let this continue to buff up and be in stealth, and this continue to be in stealth to give us these stewards. This is probably the right card to pick. If you control 3 minions with 7 health, I have minions here with not 7 health. So that.
You like my invention?
And that. And attack with that. And I don't know if I want to wait, like, because here's the problem. I might as well just throw this on the field, because I'm not going to be able to reliably buff that in my hand. Yeah, that's just not going to happen. We can definitely attack with that, and we can move forward if we want to keep this in our back pocket.
I must remain hidden to remain free.
No tomb can hold me.
Well, this might be problematic. Okay. We need that gone for sure. We need a 5 gone. We've got a 1. So I could attack here and take 4 damage and then do that. And
Maybe it's a trap.
just get rid of that first. Okay. Let's attack there. Attack there. Attack there. Attack here. Start buffering. The odds of this buffing up to 7 is not good. So where's our beast? This is, I guess, the beast we have. So see if we can give this Wing Fury. No, but we can give it Divine Shield, I guess. So we've got a backup plan here where we can summon all the minions that die in one turn if we have to kill everything on our side of the field. We've got a mass damage here if we can get several minions that have a lot of things wrong with them. Let's see. Which one of these do we want to get rid of? This, I guess. Apparently he did something to heal himself because he should be lower in his health. And he isn't. Is there a logical reason to buff right now? I don't think there is. Like, we want to kind of take our time and hold some things back. Just in case. Just in case we run into anything. He has 14 cards, I have 27 cards. Which that potentially saves the day also. One damage to all enemy minions. I'm gonna take this because just because, I suppose. Like, he has one spell card, unless he has Mechathune. I don't know what else he could do. But we're gonna keep him on a moderately tight leash. Let's go and cast that. That only brings back one thing, but that's fine. Buff this up to 7 with the last 2 attacks, which would be not a high chance of that happening, but we'll see. Or we could play this and then buff this up to 7. That's even better. Where's this guy? At the start of your turn, attack a random enemy. Let's just get him off the field. Just playing ultra tight control. Yeah, the only thing that could go wrong here would be just, I don't know, a major mistake of some sort. Okay, so that'll work now. So we need this on the field, and then we can kill a bunch of things otherwise. I could probably start speeding this up by having this guy attack also, but I'm just gonna be really, really careful. Oh, I should have attacked also.
So pathetic.
Guess we'll take this weapon. Okay, how do we want this to go? Kill that. Pretty much all we can do. We play this. We attack. We see if that buffs this guy. It does. Nice. So next turn, we could do massive damage if necessary. So this should, in the next turn, turn us to 200 damage. Which, yeah, if he doesn't have Mechathune or something that gives him a bunch of cards, I don't know what he's gonna do. He probably wouldn't have any strategy. He'd just start fatiguing and losing, and I potentially wouldn't even have to play anymore. It'd be so easy. Take that. We want the big ticket beasts now. And we'll just play this, and that'll get everything killed on the field while enraging all of my characters. And guess we put that on the field too.
You rang.
I am really annoying now. Silent Crusade!
So he just drew 3 cards magically for no reason. Now he has 30 cards back in his deck. He has destroy damaged minion, cost 1 more for each damaged minion on the field.
I am not always mad. The calming down makes me angry.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if this boss hero ability would be something I would want. So it seems like they intentionally gave Brawl to him so that Brawl would succeed. Otherwise, I should have won. So, game is kind of cheating here, to say the least. Do I want this weapon or do I want a magnetic guy? I think what I'm trying to do now is build back
Magic neutralized.
Oh, that was a mistake. I shouldn't have left this on the field so he could damage it and then destroy it. Doesn't seem like it would have affected anything anyways. I'm gonna do this. Let's see how this works. And there was no reborn there? Alright, good. So, attack there. Hope for Wind Fury. We don't get it, so let's go +1/+1.
Surrender imminent.
Attack there. And I still don't really want to play that or attack with the weapon. If we get this down to a 100, we'll get to the 3rd hero ability. Attack and health of all minions in my hand. Well, that'd be interesting to say the least. Sure.
Be reborn in the dark.
20 to 22 health.
Surrender imminent.
Like, I kind of need to get rid of all my cards. Like, no, it's not. I need to get rid of his 69 damage very quickly so he can't just do 1 damage and then destroy things. Meanwhile, I guess I could play this and this should work. Unless I need... This needs to be the 4th minion with 7 health. Let's play this. This is probably the best option. Or maybe not. Maybe we just live with what we've got.
Power before me!
That's gonna kill a 10. Would this be immune to hero powers? So I can attack with that, and that would guarantee it stayed alive. And I could attack with that, and that would kill that.
Power before me!
This is the right move. Do this. No. Interesting. So you needed 3 on the field. Okay. That's weird.
I feel bad, but I
Power before me!
Let's see. Neither one of these are mechs, so
Look to the sky.
attack here, attack here, play this,
Precision.
and play this.
Precision. Perfection.
Yeah, I should have this in the bag, like, but we really just don't know what shenanigans are going to happen here. Death rattle, destroy a minion. Can't be targeted by hero powers or spells. That's probably the best one to do.
Magic neutralized.
So, kill
Primitive.
this. But then he's going to be reborn, which means potentially I'm going to lose this guy. Or I don't attack and then I still potentially lose this guy.
Your history!
Okay, well, let's see what happens. Swap the attack and health of a minion. Okay. Let's see if that will work and save the day. I'm gonna steal this, and then I'm gonna swap an attack, the attack and health, and then this is no longer a damaged minion, so at best you can only kill that guy. After your attacks, deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. That works perfectly fine for me.
Look to the skies.
In the turn. Now, take note, we still have no cards in our hands, so there's definitely a chance here. There's definitely a chance here that we don't win. If I was going to try and win on fatigue or something, that probably wouldn't work.
Unity. Precision. Perfection.
Alright. if I swap this and then do that, that kills that. 14 cards, 22 cards. Just like the absolute worst card you could possibly play. You could deal 1 damage to all minions over and over again. I could do it 3 times and that might affect something. But I don't know what. Let's say I attack here and it does 1 damage to everything, which is fine. Then I did this a bunch of times. It would reduce the amount of damage they could do. But I don't think we're kind of at that point. So let's give it 1 more turn and before we play that.
So insulting.
Okay. Swap this to 5 health. Draw a card off of this. I guess. And then we're just going to actually let's attack here. That was a mistake. I should have attacked first. Now does it... I have 2 more of these. Do I beef up some more? I guess we do. And then this.
Job's done.
High likelihood I'm gonna lose here. And we'll have to play a second time. Like, it's kind of hard to see how that's not gonna happen.
So horrid. Daddy made toys out of you.
So yeah, we were doing great, and then this happens. I can swap that, or I could have swapped that, or I could have swapped that. I don't think any of that would have really changed any how this played. So maybe I should have stuck with the strategy of having the pick of cards. That might have affected our outcome a little bit.
Even those who fall to me feel my power.
So
Well, back at it. We'll start all over again.
we dealt 300 damage, so we unlocked well equipped. We dealt 50 damage to the Plague Lord, so we got the spell that destroys 2 random enemy minions and gains armor equal to their combined attack. We defeated 5 bosses, so we get Brand's Saddle, which gives a beast +3/+3 and Death Rattle to give it to another friendly beast if you have a beast. And he's down to 51, and we've got the card packs. So then the question would be, do I want to take this deck with these new options. We didn't defeat a Plague Lord, so we still can't play this. And let's see, what would we want to even play? Maybe this spell would be useful at the very end. And then we still didn't get Dino Tracking. Dino Tracking, super useful. Like, I should have kept Dino Tracking. I think that would have been a game changer for me. And we didn't defeat enough bosses, and you just cannot possibly defeat enough bosses in one run if you don't defeat the Plague Lord to unlock the next deck. And you really can't do it in 2 runs unless you just defeat the Plague Lord twice in a row. So here's the problem. Now, normally I would just end the recording here and say, well, that's all you get. It's been a probably decent amount of time. I haven't been looking at any kind of clock, but I imagine we've been playing for at least an hour going through this run. But we cannot do this final section until we've unlocked all previous chapters. And if I were to wait until next Tuesday to do this off screen and then put that final section together, that's not going to be amazingly interesting and not going to get any views. So what we've got to do is, in this one recording, we're going to do another run, and I suppose we'll try and beat it. We have a good chance of beating it, beating this guy. And then we'll break up the recording and do the final chapter as a separate recording. If this next run does not succeed and it takes a really long time, then we'll have to reevaluate at that point. I might go into kind of a muted off-screen mode and just play for several hours. What I want to do, however, is play as Sir Finley, since Sir Finley here has everything unlocked and he has the Murloc deck, which with an Enrage ability, that's probably not a terrible idea. Let's look at what we've got. At the end of your turn, deal 4 damage to a random enemy minion. I kind of like that guy. Summon 6 1/1 Silverhand recruits and give them Taunt and Divine Shield. We probably don't need that. Transform all millions into 1/1 Murlocs. Murlocs that cost 0. Dead fill your hand. This is not a bad one either. This is the best card to play though, Junior Scout, in my opinion. Meanwhile, for 2 mana we can give a minion Divine Shield and Wind Fury versus, oops, didn't mean to click on it, discover a Shaman Paladin or Paladin card, or summon a 2/1 Amalgamum. So then this just boils down to what kind of cards are we going to play? Are we going to go a mech deck with not really too many mechs in it? It's actually reborn cards. I'm definitely not doing a random deck, but all of this is unlocked for Finley. Now, we could do a transform deck, which would have Overload, or we could do Murloc Classic, which would be probably the wrong one. We'll do Back in Action. I feel like Sir Finley there's a decent argument to say that Sir Finley's strategy is better than any of the other strategies. While I'm here, I'm also gonna turn on an hour timer just to see how long it really takes me to go through all this.
Frog looking for shiny. You got shiny?
We're gonna try to run through this as fast as possible without introducing a significant amount of recklessness. And I want to keep an eye on hero abilities, just in case.
Devices in here that can reshape Azeroth for the worse.
Come, Chugs.
This is Bronze. That may be the only lines of dialogue that Bronzebeard ever says.
This drug don't eat magic, like sweets instead. Come get roots, little troggies.
I was hoping to have both the secret and this on the field so it would summon two of them. But whatever. Might as well give this guy Divine Shield and then Fury. So we can reprogram this guy to just always have Divine Shield. There we go, first victory, quick and easy. So, first choice. After you play an odd cost card, the costs of cards in your hand get reduced by 1. Odd would be 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Your opponent must skip their first 2 turns. That'd be nice. This is the best one though. Block fatal damage and deal 20 damage to the enemy hero once per game. So a pretty much guarantee a victory. How many Battlecry cards do we have? Do we have enough to justify going down that route? Or should we just go with a more generic mech concept? I think we should go with a more generic mech concept. And of course we're fighting different bad guys, but honestly what they need to do is they need to unlock a free play mode for all of the solo expansions where it's just like you can select the boss, the sub-boss that you're fighting throughout the... You can just pick one and play it, and maybe then you could have a solo expansion that just says you have to defeat each of these bosses. So it could be a gauntlet type theory. 1/1 Wisp with lifesteal. That's nothing special.
If you expect me to believe those aren't related, well, I won't.
So I guess the trick is if you can get it to survive this point and give it Divine Shield and Wind Fury again, then next turn you can give resummon this minion and redemption to it. Let's see. Summon this minion, redemption, attack twice in the turn. What was the other secret? Oh, the Primordial Bulwark.
Was made to be broken.
So now we've got 2.
You're angering the spirits.
Give your minions, return this to your hand. That's not useful. Charge and Wind Fury. Deals 4 damage. Right. This. This.
Even I was but a squire once.
There we go. Great card, Junior Scout.
Keep it together. These explorers are stomping all over our turf.
Let's see.
Powering up. Portals online.
Like, I'm gonna win anyways, but I could have done this, I could have done that. There's a lot of strategies here. But we really just want to burn through as much of this as possible. How much health did we have left on the Plague Lord, by the way? Was it 20? Because if it was less than 20, then we've already kind of won if we make it to the end. I guess that is a if. Of course, these early bosses would also be a nightmare if you were trying to use the primordial bulwark as a way to win, because you'd have to just end your turn a significant amount of times before they could do even 20 damage to you. So yeah, that is totally not the way to play it. I think we had like 56 left, though. So this alone probably won't win. But we should be able to do other kinds of damage. It's interesting that that card can be played, considering how it didn't satisfy the requirements. Deal 2 damage to 2 random enemy minions. It probably should read up to 2 random enemy minions. And I haven't even used the Enrage ability yet, so I kind of forgot it was there. Just go ahead and take a victory. It definitely feels like there are different heroes that you should consider using for these chapters versus the hero that was unlocked the same week as the chapters. Give your minions death rattle, summon a random legendary minion, cast a copy of all spells in your deck, targets chosen randomly. How many spells would I have in my deck right now? Not terrible. Or 10 turns of immunity, on top of which you do 100 damage. Well, this is an interesting experiment. Would this synergize with your primordial bulwark, stop fatal damage from happening, and do 20 damage to the enemy? Or would it ignore that and get you down to 0? I think it's a little too risky to try to see that combo there. Block lethal damage and deal 20 damage to the enemy hero once per game. So, would this give you 10 turns of immunity? Do you ever really need 10 turns of immunity? I don't think so. I think that's playing a little crazy. I don't think we want to play a quest. So I'm gonna do battle cry cards.
Hey, that's a pop-up tavern.
Okay.
I don't mind this whole traveling merchant thing. You know, it's kind
Add
of quaint.
all enemy minions to your adventure deck that cost 1 less. That seems like that is totally the right thing to do. Deathwing and Mechathune. Let's see. Discover a minion and replace enemy minions with
Well,
that
this
type.
technically isn't really a
It's
bazaar.
not that
I just
useful.
like the name.
Choose a friendly minion. Give it +1/+1. Choose a friendly minion. Discover a minion to replace it in your deck.
I see.
I'll start with that. That's the right move. +4/+4, but costs 2 more. Taunt Reborn could be useful, or I could replace something here. Like, do we really need this? I don't think so, so I'm gonna get rid of that and replace it with that, I guess.
I've got a huge gun.
This really wouldn't do anything, so if I was going to try and like have a legendary, no, this wouldn't even do anything. So like you do this and then it says you can have mechs or murlocs or all types. All types I guess would be just nightmare amalgams, so I could have had 4 nightmare amalgams in my field. Meanwhile, do I want something that always starts in my hand? Bronze. I mean, I guess we can have him always start in our hand, and then end the turn.
Take care. It was good
Not
seeing you.
probably the greatest choices there. That's probably an example of trying to rush and thus introducing mistakes. Boy, this animation style does not look good. That is
Are you some kind of good
not a
two-shoes?
well-drawn
Thank
picture.
you for noticing, but I do not actually wear shoes.
This Corrupt the Waters, play 6 Battlecry cards. I guess we start with that? Where'd we get that quest from? We get the Heart of something. Let's re-roll that, I guess. Playing 6 Battlecry cards probably is not the equivalent of playing this and then playing 3 more. Alright, well this doesn't have a Battlecry card, so we'll play this first. What's this ability? After you play a lackey, give it +1/+1, upgrades the upgrade something there. I can't read it. Probably be a little bit helpful to do this first. Then no cards in your deck, hand, or battlefield, destroy the enemy hero.
Repent.
Odds are low that that would happen. You really have to play to a Mechathune strategy, but he is a 10-turn mech, so you get that benefit. And then here, we'll just Wind Fury.
Job's done.
Yeah, I can't read that last part. I think it says upgrades each time you play a lackey. So you play 1 lackey, it gives it +1/+1. The second lackey gets +2/+2, I assume. Taunt Reborn, or I guess that's what we want to do.
Repent.
This does not count as a Battlecry card. unfortunately.
I wonder who this stuff.
You earned it. Can't believe we were able to tame these.
You get Heart of Rynal, which I don't know what Heart of Rynal is. Charge Wind Fury.
I'll do what I can.
Let's see. That. And then that. That. Oh man. I screwed that up. I should have given it Divine Shield first. That was a mistake. Had I given it Divine Shield and Wind Fury first, it wouldn't have died, and then I would have had more health. Right. Redemption. Battle Cries trigger twice.
What secrets will uncover?
Divine Shield. Yes. Attack here. And then attack there again.
A race to all you possess. I am. Sharp gadgets and steel.
Double time and double pay.
Don't get used to this.
Okay, so we do this, then we play this, and then that will reduce the price of that. Can I get this off the field? No, I can't. There's no way, so the right move is to do that and get rid of that guy, unfortunately. Then we'll just get rid of everything else.
Job's done.
And next turn we can play Mechathune, which Mechathune could potentially have. Well, now we can't. Like, he could potentially have Wind Fury and win in one turn. Let's see. Okay, does this have Divine Shield? I don't think it does. So we do this instead. That. That. Gotta play that. Being a little conservative here for probably not the best reasons.
Job's done.
I don't think there's even been any other Battle Cry cards, so if I play this, it won't really do anything. So we're gonna start having some real trouble now after this boss. We're gonna have to start paying attention a little bit more and really playing a bit more strategy.
For master we take.
If he plays something with taunt, I'm not gonna win this next turn. And this lackey ability is pumping up his lackeys quite a bit. But we managed to get it. We attacked once here. That clears the taunt. Then we attack here. And we still would have gotten it because we had the primordial whatever block. But now it starts to get crazy. Transforming, setting an attack to 1, and silencing might all be very useful. Otherwise, we're just gonna get mechs, and more mechs. Which... maybe I just want to keep the mechs. Number 5.
Sir Finley versus Sothis.
Yeah, it is very weird that they have this whole system where they've spent the time to voice act and write lines of dialogue and animate these bosses, and then there's a decent chance that most players won't ever see it. Some of the solo adventures are, at this point, I think, impossible to get for new players. This hero power summons 2 1/1 mage cultists. I'm sure there's a decent amount of people that don't care about the solo adventure expansions at all and don't play that. And even the people that do buy the solo adventure expansion that really should be free, you still have a good chance of it not really, even if you do play it and beat it, there's a decent chance that you won't see every single boss.
The weak shall be crushed.
Guess we have to do this, or we do this. I think it's probably a little wiser to do this. That way he can't kill me.
Behold the ancient's might.
He's down by 10 already. Let's go ahead and play another soul to consume. In theory, if I get him down just 4 more health and he doesn't heal at any point, then the primordial bulwark would win. Death rattle return to your hand. Are we ready for that? Or do that? What else do we want? Just throw that on the field, I think. I think that's pretty good. Okay. I could buff this twice, which would make it then, I think, survive. So I think that's the right move. Yeah, that's the right move. And this will resummon if I have to cast a spell at any point. Yeah, we've got this.
secrets will unravel.
Than that. And even if this didn't have Wind Fury, this would have won anyways. Good. We're making progress, but at any point we could get into a bad situation and not make it to the Plague Lord, and that's the problem here. I really would prefer that. I would really prefer that you just start with a fight, or have an option just to fight the Plague Lord by itself and not have to go through all the frustration. I don't have but 3 things that cost 9, so reducing that to 5 wouldn't be that useful, whereas giving your minions +1/+1 is very useful. Having spell damage +10 at the beginning of a game and then it reducing down in the first 10 turns is not that useful. Let's see. We have some elementals, we have some reborns, and we have some buffs. And we have another Shudderwalk, which I'm not really thinking that I'll get a crazy Shudderwalk strategy going, but we'll see. Having 2 Shudderwalks means you kind of have infinite numbers of Shudderwalks. Or I think, no, it doesn't really work that way.
Hey, friendly, just got that tea you asked for. On the house.
Add all enemies to the adventure deck. They're 1/1 this turn. This would be a beast. After you cast a spell, refresh your hero
what
power.
What exactly is going on in this desert?
Always start with someone with a 1/1. +4/+4, but costs 2 more. I don't want that on that.
Quite the pickle.
Do I want to replace something here? Not really. So take all the enemies and decide, do we want to start? Do we want to buff? Or do we want to replace anything? Or do we want to always start with something? I'm gonna do this, I guess, but it doesn't really matter. I guess I'm just gonna have to end my turn here. Like, I don't want to remove all cards from the adventure deck that cost 2 or less. That would be crazy. I have no idea why that would ever make sense. I don't like any of these cards as far as the start cards. I don't want to buff something up to make it more expensive, and I don't want to really replace anything. If there was anything I was going to replace, it would be this, and I don't think there's a real reason for that, so we'll just end. Minimal change there. The one thing I would have liked to have gotten is to give everything +1 health and taunt. So we might have a little bit of trouble there, but
it is time to save the world.
Cast a copy of all spells. We don't need that, and we're already starting with that. So I'm playing slightly risky here. Go. First move is pretty obvious. What is this ability? Choose a minion with 2 or less health, destroy it and its neighbors. Alright, well that won't affect me, at least right now, but we'll have to make sure that doesn't apply at some point some other way.
In the best shape of my life.
So just keep on doing this.
Calamos rises.
Do I want this on the field? I mean, because he'd kill it for sure. But I kind of don't have any other options, otherwise I guess I can kill this and not do any damage to myself. And then do this. And then do that. And we can play board control instead of just going straight for the head.
In the best shape of my life.
There we go. Divine Shield Rush. Is there a logical reason for that?
Photonic burst. Photonic burst.
There we go.
Who knows what secrets will uncover?
Let's see how this breaks down.
Our home, tombs.
Okay. We could do both of these. We summon this minion and return it to your hand. Darn it. That was a mistake, to say the least. That is absolutely not what was intended. Intended at all. I was trying to give this guy resummon, or perhaps this guy. This is gonna be bad. This is gonna be bad. Can we play this and this? I guess we can. Two or less health. So. But that actually does open the window because he could just do 1 damage there or 1 damage there and kill everybody on the field. Like, this strategy is going to be totally about board control, where I kind of only need 1 minion on the field at a time. Otherwise, I'm in danger of messing myself up. See if he does damage here. It doesn't matter, so I might as well just kill my own guy.
Another soul to consume.
Maybe I confused him by giving this guy Reborn, so now he's gonna keep him on the field for a long time. Obviously not.
Your presence offends me.
Really? Just have to get rid of them. Guess I could have returned them to my hand. let's just end the turn here, I guess. We need to get him down 16 health at the minimum, otherwise we might actually lose. So, here's a magnetic divine shield taunt. There's a buff we can do there. And there's a buff we can do there. We can attack there. And regain some health.
By the elements combined!
At the end of your turn, give a random friendly minion +1 attack. Okay. Give that Wind Fury, return these cards to the hand. I believe that saves us, unless he can heal. Like, even if he got me down to 0, the Primordial Bulwark would do 20 damage. Okay. That. And then that. This.
Show some respect.
There we go.
Job's done.
Seriously? Exactly one short? Probably could have given this Wind Fury and won in the last recording if I had paid more attention. Yeah, we're fine though. We're fine.
Show some respect.
So I think we have either 1 or 2 bosses we're gonna have to beat before we get to the final Plague Lord. What do we want? 1 mana minions. Or resummon abilities and stealth and reborn abilities. Or divine shield. Mechs. I think mechs are still what to go with. Yeah, 1 more. He has spell damage +3 this turn for 1 mana. So he may very well try to defeat me by spell damage. And I guess we're not getting another treasure or anything. So
Stand aside, fiend. It is time to save the world.
So I guess we're gonna just have to see how this goes. We have a decent chance of victory against the Plague Lord, but I think I would have preferred a few more helpful additions.
The light dims, but we fight.
I serve the Fire Lord.
Right. Give all minions in your hands +2/+2. I don't want to do that yet. I guess I could have attacked and then played my hero ability and attacked a second time and killed this guy.
Repent!
Oops.
Repent!
The Sandpuffer sculpting.
After you cast a spell, refresh your hero power, which would be nice, but I don't think something we could do right now. So we'll just do this.
They happen, you know?
Job's done.
You want it? I
I doubt we'll ever get this quest actually done. Your battle cry is triggered twice this turn. It's not even a useful hero ability, so I probably don't want it to happen. Now that I look at it.
Who knows what secrets will uncover?
Although, you know,
You want it?
triggering battle cries twice, and then this triggering battle cries twice, and then playing Shadow Walk might be some kind of crazy combination. Let's see.
Your history. Your history.
I hope that was the right choice. It may have been better to get rid of this.
The sands of a sculpting.
He's just gonna constantly get more cards. So I'm just getting everything handed to me. This is bad. This is not how we want this to go. Alright. We could buff and get some microbots on the field. Or we could give it Divine Shield and it could do damage here and basically nothing else. So we need the buff once minimum.
Put a handle on it. It's hard.
And then I think if we do this and then attack here and then attack here, I think that's our best bet.
Catch some rays.
But yeah, being able to do extra spell damage every turn. Yeah, I don't know how I'm supposed to survive this. My only hope is that this could win Fury a couple of times. But I don't think so. Cast a copy of all spells in your deck. It might have been a mistake. I should have cast this first. And then let's see what this does. Yeah, that might have been a bit of a mistake there. But otherwise, I think that did kind of solve our problem for at least one turn. Like, the thing that was summoned here wouldn't have been able to be given Wind Fury anyways. So that sucks.
You're in my hands now.
Okay, we have Divine Shield Rush, so that works fine. We have this, which can be Wind Fury, and that, which will buff. Down to 36, all we need to do is get down 16 more, and we should be alright. Assuming he doesn't heal, which I bet he doesn't have any spells that heal him. I could play Shudderwalk. Give a minion resummon. Death Rattle resummon the minion. I think that's worth playing there. And then I did that wrong. I should have. If I was gonna play that, I should have played this first. Then I should have done this. And then I should have cast a spell. And then I could have given this a double. Well, whatever. We'll see how this works. Let's go ahead and attack with the weakest in case we have Vaporize. That's what I thought.
Would you strike the sun so carelessly?
Then we can just determine, do we want to get rid of this guy? I think the answer is probably yes. There we go. We have a field. The field is full, which is probably a mistake, and we've got this backup strategy and this backup strategy. So I don't think there's much they could do. Even having a hand full of spells. Yeah, we've still got this. And if I played this right now, I wouldn't. We can might as well do it, but I can't play this because I don't have any room. But that's fine. We'll just win.
Blazing rays of light, take me.
So it feels like if you pick just Surf and Lee in this solo adventure and focus on it and only it, you might be alright. So we get one last treasure. After your hero attacks a minion and it survives, put the minion in your hand. Rush Reborn, Death Rattle, steal a card from your opponent's hand. Or map to Uldum. Which map to Uldum's the best option there. Meanwhile, if I could get something that did just spell damage, that might be the best move. Taunt, Taunt Reborn, and Taunt versus more mechs. I don't think I have any weapons in my deck, so I'm gonna take that. 51 damage. All I have to really do is do 31 of that damage, and then the Primordial Bulwark theoretically would save the day. Or we could just do 51 damage. Let's look at my clock and see how long it's been. It's nearly been an hour, about 40 minutes. So if you rush through this and you have a properly leveled up hero, it'll take you about an hour to run, which is probably twice as long as it should take, if I was to guess. And see, his hero power just swaps the attack and health of minions.
Hurry up! Portal online!
A blade be thirsty.
Go ahead and do this and this.
Engage!
That.
Engage!
Get rid of his armor. I don't think he'd have enough mana crystals to defeat that guy. Alright, so Divine Shield, for double. Do 8 here. There is criticism I think that can be made here about how kind of unbalanced a second run could possibly be. It is possible that there would be a scenario where somebody made it all the way down to 1 health and then had to do another hour run to just do that 1 health of damage, and in the first turn they would accomplish that goal and be left with a unsatisfactory outcome because of it. So this and this. Okay. Here we have another taunt. Or we could do a divine shield and rush. I don't think we need to do that. And we don't really need to double our battle cries. So this. We've got it below 20, so as long as he doesn't heal, and we just keep him under 20, we've got victory. But this might take a while, certainly. This may still be another 10-20 minutes to get these last 24 damage done. Particularly if he starts using this lifesteal ability. Is this a battle cry card? No. So, if I do this, probably didn't do anything, but this really wouldn't do anything either. So, let's see how this breaks down. Literally 1 damage. Yeah, if it were me, I would say if it's below 10 health, and I would program it to not try to win at that point, or just to concede when it's below 10 health on the second run in the first place. There is one boss that has like a secret way in which you can make a sub-boss concede. But it's not a final boss, and it's not something that would happen, likely. There we go. So 2 hours to beat it. Probably would have only taken 1 hour had I played as Sir Finley in the first place. I don't believe we're unlocking a final character. So now that we've defeated 4 different Plague Lords, we've unlocked Sir Scout. Charge Wind Fury at the end of your turn, deal 6 damage to a random enemy. Which that's a better version of the card I was using. Nice. So is that a card that unlocks for every hero or just Sir Finley? I bet it's just Sir Finley. And now that we have all 4 pieces, Chapter 5 is unlocked. So, let's break this up for the recording, and then we'll continue and do Chapter 5 for the live stream. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to further follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon. or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.